So speaking of that, like we talk about you going to Dr. Dre in 1992, but you didn't release your album till 1997. What was going on in the Death Row camp that had you wait until you was able to put out your album?
Well, it wasn't up to me on when my album came out. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They'll say, oh, Rage, she was slow. Yeah, I might take a while to write a rhyme, but it doesn't take forever. The same formula that they used for the Chronic and that they used for Doggy Style and Above the Rim was not used for me. Now, when it's time for the Chronic, we all were called and said, this is where we're going to be. This is what we're working on. When it was time for Doggy Style, we got the call. This is what we're working on. This is where we're going to be. Same thing, Above the Rim. Now, when it came to my album was supposed to come out after Snoop's. My album, nobody gave me a call saying, all right, Rage, we're working on your album. This is where we're going to be. I never got that call. I was sent to New York to work with Premier. Premier, at the time, had to do a rush job because he was about to go on tour. He wanted to do it later on when he came back and had time. I was sent to New York. I did, I think, 2 songs with Premier. Came back, and Above the Rim, Afro Puffs was out at this time. Even the way Afro Puffs was set up, it was not in the stores. When I was in New York, people were asking, where can I buy it? Where can I buy it? And I'm thinking it's in the stores. It was never in the stores until later. Now you got the song out later. Now the buzz is dying down. Nobody can buy it the way they wanted to when it first came out because I didn't like the song. And I really was throwing a fit, like, take that song off the soundtrack. I don't want it on there. Suge called me. Jimmy Iovine called me and was like, Rage, the song is a hit, calm down. So if you, looking back on it in hindsight, if you think a song is a hit back then, you're preparing for a hit. You got, okay, let's press up 10,000, 100,000 copies. This song is a hit. Let's get it in the store so when it drops, everybody can buy it. It was never prepped up like that for me. Then, now you have the Dog Pound. The Dog Pound album comes out before mine. It wasn't supposed to be that way. So now, after the Dog Pound's album, Pac is released. Now with Pac, that's a no-brainer. I didn't mind. Okay, Pac is gonna go first. All the buzz is around him. I didn't mind that. And people try to say, oh, she was mad because Pac's album came out before hers. No, I was mad that the Dog Pound's album came out before mine because Pac wasn't even around when my album was supposed to be out, or the Dog Pound. So it was the Dog Pound that I was mad that came out before mine. And then when Pac's album came out, all the buzz is on him, and still I'm in there. Now Dre is gone. Snoop is unhappy. Eventually Pac gets assassinated. Suge is locked up, and now they want to work on my album. I got to work on my album a little bit before, Dre was gone. Now I'm in there by myself trying to figure out how to do this when before I had direction. I'm not a producer. I'm just getting beats and I'm in there by myself trying to do this. So that's why my album didn't come out when it should have came out. That's why it took so long, because I was doing it by myself. I didn't have the conductor, which was Dre. Like I said, Snoop was unhappy. Suge is locked up. Pac is assassinated. The empire is crumbling. Now they send me to New York and I'm working with Premier and I'm still trying, and Kenny Parker and Easy Mo B. But I didn't have the person who called me to California. I didn't have Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's whole vision was Eargasms. He had the whole visual, the whole setup. This is how we're going to do it. And that dream or vision didn't come true because he was no longer there. So that's what that was. I was never mad at Pac because his album came out before mine. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, his album's going to come out before anybody's because he just was released from prison. He got a whole goddamn slew of rhymes. He go in there and work like a machine. Boom, 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 boom. He spin it out. His work ethic was, he going to be in there until he probably passed out I'm done. I'm done 6 songs. All right, let's go. I'm going. I'll be here tomorrow though. So I don't write like that. He wrote like that, not me. So
Yes.
that's what that was about.
Now we all know hindsight is 2020. You just finished saying, you was about to work on a project with Chubb Rock, but the only reason why you didn't do that because you got that phone call from Dre, only to be basically shelved for all those years and not get the production that you was really looking for. Do you have any regrets? And do you think things would have been different had you stayed in New York with Chubb Rock?
I don't have any regret, but I do think things would have been different. And Chubbs told me a couple years ago, he was like, yeah, Andre Harrell had called him and said he wanted to sign me. And I said, what? Andre Harrell? And he was like, yeah, he wanted to. He called him one night and was like, yo, that girl, I want to sign her. And he was like, yo, she's going to California. You're too late. But I think that I don't have any regrets at all. Only regrets I have is not having a lawyer when I signed my contract. But other than that, I believe I would have done everything the same way. I think it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. I was bitter at first in regards to the way I was handled and the way Jewel was handled. I feel like the females on death row didn't get the same treatment that the guys got. We were kind of put on the back burner. And I just feel that with the talent that she had and with the talent that I had, there's no way that we shouldn't have had a bigger career. But like I said, in hindsight, I look at it as, for me, it wasn't meant to be at that time. Diggy Daz.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was trying to set this up while you was talking, but I guess it didn't work out like that. All right, so going back to your album, do these internet streets, and Daz is real vocal about, y'all was constantly bumping heads with each other. Before you get into your side of the story, I'm gonna show this clip of him talking about, how y'all was actually bumping heads in the studio. Okay, hold on.
I was told that Rage, that album, was difficult to get done.
Yeah, we was arguing a lot about ideas and stuff, and she was death row, but she was dog pound. She had a baby by the neck bone. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Probably ought to ask her that too. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he said we gotta ask you. So acquiring minds wants to know.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you. So right there, when he said I was death row, now they had Bloods and they had Crips. I was neither. But I fell in love with a Blood. So once that happened, I was treated differently. And that hurt me because y'all know I can hang with y'all Bloods and I can hang with y'all Crips. I can hang, but I'm neither. Like when I took pictures and they say throw up the C, I would never do it. Or if I took pictures with Blood and they tell me to throw up the B, I would never do it because I'm neither one of those. People live and die by that. I'm not playing around with that. I'm not throwing up nothing like that just for a picture. No. And then I go somewhere and somebody remember the picture. I'm in a Crip neighborhood and now I'm through a Blood. Oh, she a Blood. Now I'm confronted about something that I thought was trivial. It's not trivial. People live and die that way. So because of my relationship with the person I fell in love with, they started treating me different. So that's why he said she was death row without saying she was a Blood. I was never a Blood. I just fell in love with a Blood and was in a relationship with a Blood. And then he said, but she was also dog pound because I'm cool with everybody. Yes, I'm in the dog pound clique. Yes, I can hang with the Blood. I can hang with anybody. So that's what that was.
Yes. And was there any other arguments outside of that situation that had to do with production? Because you do have people out here in these YouTube streets. Shout out to the dirty side of YouTube. Even though y'all going through some stuff right now, I appreciate y'all. But people felt like did miss the Dre sound off your album. A lot of the critics say that your lyrics are too hard to come at you any kind of way with production or beats, and people felt like Daz didn't live up to the standard Dre would have had he paid mine your album. So were there things musically that you had a hard time dealing with during the production?
Well, not Dre and Daz are two different producers. Like Easy Mo B and Premier are two different producers. You can't compare them. They both had their own unique sound. So it was never an argument about production with me and Daz. It was just about who I was with. And I learned that somebody told me that if you date somebody, if I dated a Crip, I'm now considered a Crip. If you date a Blood, you're now considered a Blood. So that's what that little riff was. They felt that I'm now a Blood and treated me differently. So it was no other arguments other than that. And it wasn't even an argument. It was just a treating me different. And it hurt me because I'm y'all sister. I've never, I'm from Virginia. I don't get down like that. So I was more hurt than anything. And yeah, that's basically it. I was more hurt. As far as my lyrics and Daz not living up, Daz did Daz, and he did it well. And all the other producers did what they do. Now, everybody may have been expecting some Dre-esque stuff, but Dre didn't produce anything. So therefore, you're not going to get what you're expecting because he wasn't a part of it.
Yes, and I think it would have really, I don't know, as a fan standpoint, I really think it would have changed the game as far as your album was concerned.
Of course.
Had it went the other way.
Of
Now,
course.
one of the songs that one of my favorite is Show Shot. And I really feel like you talk about like division, you just the same way you was talking about you don't pick sides, East, West Coast, basically you didn't really say Blood and Crip, but you was basically talking about towards the East Coast, West Coast situation. And it seems like that was a part of the beef between you and Pac. Like, you didn't want to get on a diss track, or, you didn't have the same belief system as he did when it came to who was going after him, and didn't really fall in line. Do you feel like the camp thought you was playing the 50, or what was your true beliefs when it came to that whole East Coast, West Coast, if you don't mind?
What's the 50?
Like playing the fence, like,
playing the fence. I thought you said the 50.
Well, I think that's what they call it, playing the 50. I don't know. That's what these new people be saying. But it's like playing the fence a little bit. Like, you cool with everybody, especially when both sides are warming. Like, you didn't want to pick a side. You didn't want to participate in certain things.
Why
should I? Feel like...
Why should I? Why should I? People lose their lives for getting in shit that don't involve them. People lose their lives for shit that's unnecessary. Trying to prove what? What are you trying to prove? To who? I am true to myself. To thine own self be true. And that's who I am. And I stand on that. Now, me and Pac didn't have beef like, I hate you. And if we butted heads, we didn't agree. And we told each other that to each other's face. And that was the realest thing between us. How we communicated with each other. And even after all of that, he saw me in the hall one day. He was in a session, and he said, I asked him why, because when he came, I had to get out of the studio. It's like, all right, it's his turn now. When he came, I think he came early or something, or I wasn't expecting him. And I was like, why are you always coming in my session? Like, it's time for me to, when he show up or anybody show up, whoever got the studio booked at that time, it's time. All right, next person up. So I said, why are you always coming in my session? And he was like, don't get mad at me, Rage. See them niggas in the front office. And besides, your album should have been done. And he didn't lie. Yeah, my album should have been done. But I went up to the front and I asked, like, why is he always in this studio right here? And they was like, coming here, calling me in. It was like, Rage, what it is nobody wants to tell Pac no. And I was like, huh. So I went back there and I told him what they said. And he paused for a second. He was like, you know what, Rage? And next time, anytime I come and you're not finished, if you need more time, he said, I'll wait. It was another little area. He said, I'll be over here until you finish. If you need some help, I'll help you. And then after that, it was like the tension as far as him wanting me to him wanting me to take on his beef or diss anybody, that sort of thing, it kind of quelled. He saw me in the hallway. He was like, Rage. I said, what's up? He said, I heard you hit a cop. I said, yeah, he hit me. And he said, I know some niggas don't want to hit a cop. And I said, yeah. And then went on. Then he called me in the he was in his session. And he said, Rage, I want you to be on my album. I said, And he said, I ain't dissing nobody. I got East Coast niggas on there. And I said, all right, I'll think about it. And then I think that was the way that, okay, she's not going to change who she is. I'm not going to change who I am. You can only respect that. He's not going to have nobody's going to convince him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. I'm going to do what I want to do and what I believe in. And then that's when things started getting a little better. And then unfortunately, he was assassinated. So we didn't get to do the project. I believe it's One Nation. One Nation, I think is what it was called.
Yes, and shout out to Buckshot Shorty. Shout out
Buckshot
to
Shorty was the first name. Buckshot Shorty was the first name he called. He said, I got some East Coast niggas on there, and Buckshot Shorty was the first name he called.
Yeah, shout out to Doug Down, and rest in peace to Sean Price, because he's a part of that family. He's having his memorial August 8th, this Thursday at SOB. So if you're in New York, please get some tickets. Shout out to his wife, Bernadette Price, and the whole Duck Down, Bucktown family.
Yeah.
Yes, gotta shout them out. Now, between you and Pac, that was like the battle of the air signs. You being Aquarius and being Gemini.
No, he's not Aries.
Like when you got two intellectual people and strong emotionally too, because Aquarius is the water bearers. I'm a Gemini too, so me and Pac got that comment. Did you ever try to have like the battle of the wits, even outside of like topic of discussion? Like, fuck that, I ain't backing down. I'm not gonna let Pac get over me. Was it kind of like a ego thing of intelligence?
No, I don't think so. Because when he first got there, it was all playful and everything. And I remember him telling me, he's like, dang, Rage. He said, I don't like big girls, but it's something about you. And I was like, man, get out of here. Like, oh, go ahead on. And so he was very playful. And then he approached me because he heard that I was at the Source Awards, like when Lil' Kim came out. I stood up for Lil' Kim. And that was the time where Suge had said, come to death row. I can't remember verbatim, but anybody tired of the...
Oh, that's the infamous, if you tired of niggas all in your video. All on the record.
Yeah.
Come to death row.
Yes. So and he heard that I stood up because that's Kim, and me and Kim are cool. I didn't get no memo that said, okay, we all gonna sit down and we not standing up and we not having a good time. I didn't get that. And like I said, I've never been afraid to be me. I'm just me. I don't think it was a lack of, and I hate that word. I ain't even gonna say it. Go ahead. I ain't even gonna say it.